You know, now that I think about it, I asked myself, how did I buy my first house with a $35,000 GLeague contract? In this video today, I'm gonna break down how I was able to buy my first property with a $35,000 salary. I'm gonna break it down of how I did it, how I renovated it, and how I got through the whole process of doing this. Yeah, I look back today and I'm like, how was I really able to do that? And I'm just thinking like, it was definitely very, very, very tough. And now I am listing that property on the market and it is looking to sell. The listing is right there. And here's some photos of the property so you guys see this was something that I bought 2.5 years ago with a $35,000 salary. So let's rewind to 2 years ago and let's get this full story out the way. And let me tell you guys how I did it, how I was able to acquire it, all that good stuff. Before we get going, and I'm about to be super transparent about how my financial situation was back then, all this, the least you guys could do for me so I can continue to be motivated to drop more videos is hit that like button, hit that subscribe button mostly, and drop a comment below and let me know what you think. But regardless, guys, let me know what you think, and here we go. Let's get to it. Alrighty, so if you guys do not know, the starting salary 2 years ago for the NBA G League was $35,000. Now that $35,000 is over the course of around 5.5 to 6 months that you are to receive. Regardless, when I first got to Delaware, I was with the Delaware Bluecoats. I really just wanted to learn about real estate. Now the properties in Delaware were very, very cheap compared to other big markets such as California, New York, and you know, all other markets. So Delaware is very, very cheap. And as I was just looking and scrolling on Zillow, I would see properties for $30,000 and you know, up to properties for like $300,000. So it was definitely something I thought that I could dive into without any type of problem. So I'm a type of person where I go full all in on something. You know, all I need is a little bit of knowledge on it and I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna figure the rest out later. Now, this is great in some aspects and it's very bad in some aspects, but I think it's been really beneficial for me getting to the point I am now. So playing a full professional basketball season, you know, you travel a lot. I was in Delaware a good amount of time and, you know, I had a good amount of free time on my hands. So with that free time after practice, after weightlifting and all that good stuff, I would tour properties with realtors and I would, you know, check out homes and I would ask realtors questions because I really had no idea what I was doing. Wasn't pre-approved. I had around $8,000 at the time to my name with around another $10,000 maybe pending. And I just told myself, also had good credit at the time. That's the one thing I did. I was in a situation where I knew I wanted to buy a home. I knew I wanted to make another source of income. And the reason why I really wanted to make another source of income is because I didn't know what I was gonna do after my G League season ended. I didn't know if I was gonna play somewhere else. I didn't know if I was gonna wait another 6 months to play in the G League again. I didn't know if I was gonna get a call up. So things were uncertain. And when things are uncertain for me, I figured, let me figure something out before the uncertainty hits. And I wanted to make some extra income. So, boom, that's when real estate hit me and I started reading everything I could about real estate. In season, on the road, going to games, man, I had everything. Every real estate book you can think of. Rich Dad Poor Dad, I was just getting myself educated and the only way I knew how to. So then I was able to offer on a property, didn't go through. Offer on another property, didn't go through. And this is all pre-COVID, guys. But then I was able to find a property that was on the market for roughly around 130 days. You know, the realtor told me it was listed too high and we can come in at like kind of a, not a lowball offer, but something more reasonable. So we offered $175,000 for this property. And this property is in Wilmington, Delaware, and my plan was to renovate this property, make it look nice, make it look modern, and rent it out to a tenant and make some cash flow. Now, I started doing a lot of analysis on Bigger Pockets. I made sure I was really receiving a real cash flow. Now, I made sure I was documenting all my expenses, principal, interest, mortgage, insurance, taxes, vacancies, everything, guys, property management, the whole 9 yards, and I was projecting to make $300–400 in cash flow. And to me, for a first property, after reading all the real estate books and learning and talking to other investors in the area, I thought it was solid. I thought it was a solid property to strike on. So we offered 175, and then the owner countered back and said that he wanted us to go up to 180. I was super eager to buy a property at the time. It was no hesitation that for me to go up to 180. You know, he accepted our offer, and then I was to go get pre-approved. And now I was kind of in escrow, not knowing how I was about to do this. And keep in mind, it was about $8,000 to my name. We negotiated this contract where the seller pays all closing costs. So I was to come to escrow with a 3% down payment, which was roughly around $5,400. You know, I was just in my mind, I was like, I got it. I got $5,400. I want to get this property. I want to acquire it. And my goal was to rent it out for $1,600 a month. I was a little nervous. You know, I had people telling me $1,600, you might not get that in that area. That's way too high. People might as well just go get an apartment. But this was the path I was on, and I had to get $1,600 for this property to work and for it to cash flow me a good amount of money. So I was able to get conventional financing with a 3% down payment. I had a good credit score, and I was fresh out of college with my GLeague salary. So that GLeague salary goes back into those 4 years of college as if I was making that amount consistently for those last 4 years, which is good if you're coming out of college. And full disclosure, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving any type of financial advice in this video today. I'm just here to tell you my story, and hopefully it can help you out trying to buy your next property. Just giving that disclosure. So that $5,400 wasn't really a problem for me, and we negotiated a contract that the seller was to pay all closing costs. So being that I had to go to closing with a little bit more than $5,400, let's say $6,000 just to pay some other little bit of fees on my end, I had it. And I was like, I'm pretty comfortable doing this. I have $8,000 in the bank account right now. My credit score is pretty well. I don't have any debt to my name. I'm living for free. I had a 2011 Chrysler 300C that was fully paid off for at the time. And I knew I had more checks from my GLeague coming in, which were for about $10,000 more. I knew that I need to save as much money possible. Like, I was not going to spend anything. I just knew that whatever I'm about to get into is about to get serious. So my goal was to not spend a dime. So when we were going road trips, I would bring food on road trips in the GLeague, and I would make sure the per diem I was able to collect, that per diem was the money I was trying to live off of. It was just something I had to do, and that was just a sacrifice I was willing to make. Now, being in the process, a lot of people who weren't in real estate were giving me advice, which is the worst thing you can do. Let me say it again. The worst thing you can get is advice from people who are not in real estate, and I was listening to them. And it was just like, you might want to back out. It's not going to produce you that much money. You're going to have to do that. And it was just crazy. So when I'm calculating my numbers for this property, I knew that I had to put $5,400 down, and I was budgeting for $15,000 renovation. Now, here are the before pictures of the property. Just go check that out before we even do anything. Here are the before pictures. But for those who know real estate, to go from this to this is not $15,000. So now I did it with $35,000. Now that was a lot of saving, a lot of Facebook Marketplace, a lot of gig workers coming in to do this and that, a lot of people who really just saying, not the best of the best contractors, Craigslist contractors. And it was just the budget I had. It was the budget I had, and a lot of stuff were a lot of DIY projects, the things that I had to do myself. I would scrape off the wallpaper in the house. There's wallpaper all over the house. I did some demoing of the carpet and the rugs myself. There was carpet in the kitchen of this property. So I was in that house doing some work myself. Handyman TCash at the time. So, but that's some things you have to do going into your first property, or when you don't have that big of a budget. So something good about going into this project was that I had an inspection contingency, and I think I used this inspection contingency to the best case scenario for myself. So the property did have a lot of safety damages, and it did have things in the property that were just not up to code for the city of Delaware. So what I did was, me and my realtor talked, and we asked for either the seller to fix, the roof, electric, plumbing systems, the things that were safety damages, or for the seller to credit us with $15,000 when we close. Seller countered back at us at $5,000, and I said, can we meet in the middle at $10,000? and the seller agreed to meet in the middle at $10,000. So when I was able to close, you know, getting to the closing table was definitely a hassle on this first home, just because of the situation I was in financially and with a new job and making that amount of $35,000. We finally get to the closing table and I go to closing with roughly a $6,000 cashier's check. And when I left, I was able to leave with $10,000 check for the inspections and all that. And I was able to also gain the keys. So in the end of the day, I left really with $4,000 and the keys to my new property. Now, with that being said, I made sure I wasn't just gonna take this money and just do whatever with it and have fun, but I used this $10,000 for renovation, repairs, all that good stuff. And I made sure we fixed up all those safety hazards with that money. You know, you have holding costs with the property, you've got to pay these contractors. My money was dwindling down day by day by day by day. So I had that, but it got to a point where I needed more money. I just didn't have it. So luckily there's something called credit cards and there's something called increasing your credit limit. And this is all I knew and all I had. So I made sure before I was about to max out all these credit cards, I made sure I increased all the limits. And I increased one card to $10,000 and I increased another one to $5,000. So now I had an extra $15,000 for the renovation of this project, plus the $10,000 I had in the GLeague. I maxed out those credit cards for material, for maybe some labor here and there. I remember 2 months into my project, a lady walks into my house, says, "Hey, I see you guys doing all these renovations. We're looking for a place to stay. Do you know how much are you looking to get for rent?" And I told her, I replied to her and I said, "Oh yeah, we're looking to rent this place when it's done for $1,600. She looks at me, she laughs and says,
$1,600 in this area? Good luck.
And when she said that to me, I sat back like, whoa. Did I make the right decision? And I really thought about that, and I thought, like, why did I even buy this property? Why did I invest in real estate? Why didn't I listen to my friends? Why didn't I listen to the people who weren't really involved or invested in real estate? But I just knew I was 75% done with this project. I was right at the finish line. Before quitting, might as well, let's get this project done. Let's shoot for the moon on these numbers. All right, let's try to get this $1,600 a month in rent, and let's see what we can do. Time gets done, we finish everything. It got to a point, my credit cards were maxed out. I was over here, I was going to Plato's Closet to cash in some clothes, to get some extra money to give to my workers to get the house done. My car was giving me issues, so let's not say I didn't sell my car for this house, but it was about time to sell my car and move back to New York and get a new car. So I did sell my car and made about $5,000. I was able to pay off all my contracts. I was really, money was tight. It was. And look, but if I had to go back, I'd do it 10 out of 10 times and I'd do it again. So I put the property on Facebook Marketplace and the traction is going crazy. People are messaging me left and right. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. In the first 48 hours, I had 30 people reaching out to me to come check out the property. This really gave me so much relief and really took a big weight off my shoulders. It got to a point where I knew people were going to be in a bidding war for my property. So with that being said, I knew now when I'm going to post my property on Zillow, I don't have to price it less at $1,600. I actually ended up pricing it at $1,800 on Zillow. And in the first 4 or 5 days, it was a parade. People were coming in at 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30, throughout the whole day. Honestly, it was really amazing. And everyone who came in loved the place and wanted to submit an application. So really, I was super excited. And then when applications started to come in, it was really, for me, up to whoever wanted to put the most money down. And I was in a situation where someone was willing to put down 100% 12 months rent in advance. For somebody who spent almost everything for this property to get 12-month rent upfront in advance, it was just gold in my eyes. And I was just so happy at this moment. I was able to get $22,800 upfront cash in advance for the rent and he was willing to pay $1,900 a month in rent. So that was $900 over my monthly payment. Definitely left me with enough money for reserves, for maintenance, for any type of issues as well, and to pay my property management and give me a cash flow. So, I mean, you know, this was honestly amazing, and I was just super stoked about it. And I was so super stoked, I forgot about the value of what I put to the property and what the property was really worth. I didn't even care about that. So I was able to collect those funds upfront in advance. And now today, I really don't recommend this. 2.5 years later, I do not recommend this because you're gonna spend that money. And you know, I did spend some of that money because I wanted to pay back off my credit cards. I wanted to just get back on my feet and, you know, just lifestyle expenses. But yeah, and I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't do that ever again, collecting full rent up front. That's just my opinion. It's just better to get the money the first of the month, and you know, now you got your money, now you can pay off all your expenses, and now you have your cash flow, just in my opinion. But being able to collect that money up front was really, really good. You know, fast forward 2.5 years later, now we look back at it, you know, going into all that debt, you know, not knowing what to do with this property, putting myself in the fire, spending all the hours trying to fix up the property, hiring contractors, firing contractors, even having contractors, you know, take a little bit of money from me. It happens, and it definitely happened with me. I look back, and to be having this house on the market now for $340,000, and I think it will sell for that price. So going with the original purchase price of $180,000 to now being worth $320,000 and to be able to sell it for $340,000. You know, I look back at that month, those 3 months of really being struggling financially, struggling to finish this project, and really struggling to bring together $35,000, $40,000 to fix this property. I look back and I don't hesitate one bit, and I wouldn't take those 3 months back for anything. You know, for those $35,000 added to $180,000, let's say all in, and not even include, let's also include the $10,000 of seller commissions. So being all in this project, $305,000, utilizing mostly debt and a little bit of my income that I've made from the NBA G League, to now being worth $320,000, you know, God willing, I'm going to sell for $340,000, to use all of that debt and the money I had to create over $100,000 for myself. Honestly, that's huge now that I think about it. You know, I want to say this story to let you guys know, if you're in a situation where if you want to invest in real estate and you don't have that super high paying job, you know, you're kind of struggling financially, you think it's really tough. I want to say, I think it can still be done. You know, utilizing the right tools, techniques, utilizing debt the correct way, I think you can really make it happen. So I shared this story with you guys, kind of to show you guys and to tell you guys that I was able to, I don't know how to this day, but I was able to make it happen with a $35,000 salary. That $35,000 salary ended up turning into over $100,000 in the course of a year. Now, where real estate's going now, instead of that $35,000 salary, what I do is I wholesale real estate to pay for my investments, and I use my investments to pay for my living. My wholesaling money funds my investments, and now I look to either wholesale for myself or wholesale to make another income for myself. If I knew about wholesaling earlier, I probably would have been in a way better situation than I was 2 years ago, but everything happens for a reason. Me getting into real estate led to me wholesaling, and wholesaling's led to me investing in more and more properties. But guys, regardless, that's the story of how I made that work. If you guys want to learn how to wholesale real estate, you guys want to learn how to get your first property, book a consultation call below. Wholesaling real estate can build you a six-figure business. I did it within a year, and I have no doubt that you guys can do it either. So that link will be in the description below. But guys, if you made it to this part of the video, kudos to you, or whatever you say, or man, big shout out to you guys for getting to this point of the video. Much appreciated. And if you're not, make sure you drop a comment, let me know what you think about the video, and subscribe to the channel for some more dope content. I'm out though, guys. Peace.